Chris Sutton has reacted to another Rangers defeat. Welcome back to Fog Football. We're going to look at that reaction. Then we're going to look at his gossip column on Daily Record, talking about the Rangers takeover and also Celtic's Champions League exploits. But we'll combine them and we'll discuss them. And this is what he said today. Kinda combining the Hibs victory against Celtic and Rangers defeat against St Mirren into one. Even when the door is left ajar, dear me, time for change. Basically, alluding to the fact that Philip Clement needs to go. No one here is going to disagree with that. Although he is a Celtic man, Sutton, he knows how to twist the knife into Rangers. He doesn't really want Philip Clement to go. He wants him to stay, just like every other Celtic fan. And when that's the case, when every Rangers fan wants Clement to go, and when every Celtic fan wants him to stay, and by the way, he manages Rangers, that's when you know time is up. Then he went on to say, previously before that, my record sport call on a European campaign to be proud of, and why Celtic are just concentrating on themselves and looking up and not focusing on noise from their struggling rivals. So, we will get into this in a wee minute, but if Celtic are just concentrating on themselves and looking up and not focusing on Rangers, why is Chris Sutton dedicating a full article to Rangers, and why is everyone else spending the last couple of days, if you're a Celtic fan, talking about Rangers and the 49ers? I'll tell you why. Because it's a pretty big deal for Scottish football, and Celtic don't want any money being pumped into Rangers. They want the status quo to remain the same. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say I wouldn't want the exact same thing if the tables were turned. Of course I wouldn't want my rivals to get better. So that's just the fact of the matter, is it? That's the reality. You know what I mean? Like, that is just the absolute reality, folks, that we are currently in here. And Chris Sutton can spew a load of shite all he wants, but no Celtic fan wants Rangers to get this takeover, because it automatically makes Rangers better. And that's it. But let's see what Chris Sutton said. And I quote, Brendan Rodgers has done a magnificent job in restoring Celtic's credibility in the Champions League. Now the club simply must ensure this progress isn't wasted. Rodgers has been good as his word in terms of restoring the club's pride on the continent, and he wants to keep progressing. So give him every opportunity. To come this far and stall would be criminal. It just can't happen. So I trust work is already going on feverishly behind the scenes on his behalf right now. It's been intriguing to gauge the noise around... Gauge the noise around the potential investment which may arrive into Rangers from American sources. Cash injections into Ibrox might be important for them, but to be brutally honest, from a Celtic point of view, it's irrelevant. End of quote. Right here, right now, it feels irrelevant because Celtic feel light years clear of Rangers, right? But as we've clearly seen, look at last year. Rangers were nowhere near Celtic, and then Clement came in and got us back in front in the title. You factor in a takeover and more money being able to spend when an actual manager capable of tying his shoelaces and running baths, maybe Rangers will have something. Maybe not next season, maybe the year after, or maybe later. But here, Celtic aren't going to win every league title from now until the end of time. Rangers are going to win league titles again. It may not feel like it, but it is going to happen. But Sutton can say it's irrelevant. It's really not. He went on to say, right now, my old club are looking up in terms of pushing on in Europe as opposed to peering down them at rivals in Scotland. When it comes to investment, the only one that counts at Celtic is our own, and focus on that is surely strengthened by the progress in this season's Champions League. Look, I'm not one who wallows in glorious failure. That type of scavantic guff has usually me hunting for a sick bag. But I didn't actually see Celtic's Champions League exit in Munich as a failure. Eliminated, yes, but when it comes to their status amongst the elite of Europe and a vision of what could happen in their own future, the Allianz Arena has to be viewed as another big step forward. It's not so long ago Celtic couldn't win a game in the Champions League. They lost 4 out of 6 last season. Despite Rodgers' claims to the contrary, I didn't see much progress. However, this term is staring you in the face. In 10 games in the competition, Celtic lost just 3. They took points on the road when in the past they were just lucky to escape without hiding. Fortress Parkhead has become a soft play for opposition. It was as fearful as a bouncy castle, yet that has changed too. The Bayern defeat in the first leg was a first home reverse in 7. This is progress. real progress. End of quote. Right. Tell you what, right? It's easy to say Celtic got an easy draw in the Champions League, but to me, what proved their step up was the 2 games against Bayern. Because, you know, young boys, Bratislava, etc., not good. Celtic should have beat them. They did beat them. All right, yeah, they beat Leipzig as well. Good result. Draw against Atalanta was good. I mean, against Zagreb and Bruges, you probably would expect wins. That's just the truth, even though Bruges are pretty good. But for me, the real turning point and the proving point was the 2 games against Bayern. Because we all talked about how fact it was a pretty easy draw that Celtic got. So that's what proved it to me. Not really the league stage. It was more the knockout stages. Anyway, folks, leave your thoughts down below. And that is it here. Talking about Chris Sutton's thoughts on Rangers, the 49ers, and also Celtic in Champions League.